Something strange is happening in global trade right now. The biggest winners are not the biggest economies. They're the ones in the middle. Because while everyone is focused on the US and China, a quiet shift is happening underneath. And it's changing who actually holds power in the global economy. For decades, global trade was simple. The US consumed, China produced, Europe connected, everyone else supported that system. But that model is breaking. US-China trade is shrinking, tariffs are rising, supply chains are being split, and companies are starting to rethink everything. Here's the part most people are missing. Global trade is not collapsing. It's being rerouted. Instead of one dominant flow, we now have multiple pathways. And those pathways are running through countries like Vietnam, Indonesia, India, Mexico, and parts of Africa. These are what experts now call connector economies. They don't dominate trade, but they sit in the middle of it. And that position is becoming incredibly powerful. Companies no longer want to rely on just one country. That's the key shift. They want backup supply chains, multiple manufacturing hubs, geopolitical flexibility. So instead of replacing China, they're adding layers around it, and those layers are emerging economies. Trade is no longer about efficiency. It's about resilience. That's a massive change, because in the old system, the cheapest country wins. In the new system, the most reliable network wins, and that network often runs through smaller, faster-growing economies. These countries have three advantages. First, they're flexible. They can adapt faster than large economies. Second, they're strategically neutral. They're not at the center of major geopolitical conflicts. Third, they're cheaper, but improving fast, better infrastructure, better tech, but still lower cost. That combination is powerful. This is not a perfect win, because more importance also means more risk. These economies are now exposed to global shocks, capital flows, energy price spikes, and if the system becomes unstable, they're often the first to feel it. This is where it gets interesting. Power in the global economy doesn't just come from size, it comes from position. If supply chains depend on you, you gain leverage. And right now, more and more supply chains are passing through emerging economies, not because they're the biggest, but because they're the most useful. So the real shift is this. The world is moving from a centralized system to a networked system. And in a network, the middle matters more than ever. So no, globalization isn't ending, it's evolving. And the countries quietly rising right now are not replacing the global system. They're becoming the ones that hold it together. If you're still thinking global power is only about the US and China, you're already behind the shift. Because the real story is happening in the middle. Subscribe if you want to see these changes early, before they become obvious to everyone else.